At night, when the city sleeps and even the lights feel tired, my heart wakes up. It wakes up with a question that never leaves me. Why did I marry a man old enough to be my father? The room is quiet, too quiet. The clock on the wall ticks slowly, like it knows my secret. I sit on the edge of a large bed that does not feel warm, even with silk sheets and heavy blankets. This bed was bought with money. So was this house. So was my silence. My name is Aylin. I am 24 years old, and I am the wife of Mr. Haroon Malik, a man of 68. People think wealth makes life easy. They think gold softens pain. But at night, when no one is watching, wealth is very loud. It reminds you why you are here. I did not marry for love. I married to escape. My father died when I was 17. He left behind a small house, many debts, and a mother who cried every night. I worked during the day and studied at night. I dreamed of a life where my hands would not shake when I opened bills. I dreamed of peace. Then Mr. Malik entered my life like a quiet storm. He was a friend of my uncle. He wore clean white clothes and smelled of old books and strong tea. He spoke slowly, like time obeyed him. When he looked at me, his eyes did not rush. They rested. "You are very calm," he said the first time we spoke. I was not calm. I was tired. The proposal came fast, too fast. "I can give you safety," he said. "No more worries, no more fear." My mother's hands trembled when she held mine. "He is kind," she whispered. "He will take care of you." No one asked me what I wanted, and maybe I did not ask myself either. I said yes. The wedding was quiet. No music loud enough to hide my thoughts. No joy strong enough to stop my heart from asking questions. When he placed the ring on my finger, his hand shook. I told myself it was age. I did not know it was loneliness. Now I live in a house with many rooms and very few voices. The walls are painted cream. The floors shine. Everything looks perfect. But perfection has no heartbeat. Mr. Malik treats me with respect. He never raises his voice. He never touches me without asking. Sometimes that hurts more. "Are you comfortable?" he asks every night. I always say yes. Comfort is not love. Comfort is not warmth. Comfort is not the feeling of being seen. Late at night, I sit by the window and watch cars pass. People are going somewhere. I am already somewhere I did not choose. One night, rain starts to fall. Soft at first, then heavy. I hear him cough from the other room. The sound is weak, human. Without thinking, I stand up and walk toward him. He is sitting in his chair, holding a book he is not reading. The lamp beside him throws shadows on his face. For the first time, I really look at him. His hair is thin and white. His face carries years, not gently. His eyes are tired. "You should sleep," I say. He smiles, small and careful. Sleep comes late to old men. I want to laugh. I want to cry. Instead, I sit across from him. The rain grows louder. "You don't have to stay," he says. His voice is kind, too kind. "I know," I reply, "but I stay." Silence fills the space between us. It is not heavy. It is honest. After a long moment, he speaks again. "You are unhappy." The words hit me like cold water. I open my mouth to deny it, but no sound comes out. He nods slowly. "I was afraid of that." "You knew?" I ask. "I hoped," he says, "that one day you would not look at the window like it is a door." My chest tightens. No one has ever said that to me. "I never wanted to cage you," he continues. "I only wanted to protect you. Protection without love feels like a beautiful prison." The rain begins to slow. My heart does not. I stand up quickly. "I'm sorry," I say, though I don't know why. "I need some air." As I walk away, I feel his eyes on my back. Not angry, not demanding, just sad. In my room, I close the door and lean against it. My breathing is fast. My thoughts are louder than the storm outside. I married him for wealth, but tonight I saw something else. A man who knows he is not loved. A man who chose loneliness so I could have safety. And for the first time since the wedding, my heart whispers a dangerous thought. What if this marriage costs more than it gives? I sit down on the bed, staring at my ring as the house falls silent again. The next morning arrives with a pale sun that does not feel warm. I wake before him, as I always do, and the house smells of polished wood and faint tea. Everything is perfect, and everything is empty. I wander into the kitchen. He is already there, standing by the window, hands wrapped around a cup. When he sees me, he smiles the same small, careful smile. It feels like an invitation to something I don't know the name of. "Good morning," he says softly. I nod, murmuring a reply. I don't feel. He pours me tea anyway, placing the cup in my hands with gentle precision. We sit across from each other at the long table. The silence is heavy, but not cruel. He does not push me to speak, and I do not push myself. For a moment, it feels like a normal morning, the kind I have never had. "You slept well?" he asks finally. His voice carries no judgment, just curiosity. "I think so," I reply, unsure if I am telling the truth. He nods, as if accepting that my answer is enough. Then he sips his tea, watching the steam curl in the morning light. I watch him, really watch him. There is something fragile in the way he moves, the way he carries his body through the house, something that reminds me I am not the only prisoner here. Later, I find myself in the library pretending to read while he walks in behind me. He does not touch me, but he sits nearby, the chair slightly angled toward mine. I can feel the quiet weight of his presence. "You enjoy the books?" he asks. I glance at him, noticing the softness in his eyes, the absence of expectation. I like them," I say. He nods, and the silence returns, but it no longer feels like a wall. It feels like a fragile bridge between us. Days pass like this, small gestures, quiet mornings, shared tea, books read in the same room without speaking. And slowly I begin to notice little things. The way he hums when he reads a familiar line, the way he remembers my favorite tea without asking, the way he leaves his hand on the table for a moment, as if hoping I will take it. I do not. I am scared. Scared that warmth might grow into something I cannot control. Scared that safety will feel like chains if love ever touches it. One evening, he asks me to join him for a walk in the garden. The air is cool and heavy with jasmine. I follow silently, letting him lead. We walk past fountains and rose bushes, our footsteps soft on the gravel path. "I like the roses," I say quietly. He stops, looking at me. "They bloom even if no one notices," he replies. I look down, surprised by the honesty in his words. "Like people," I whisper. He does not answer. He only watches the sky darken, as if giving me time to speak more. I feel invisible, I admit. I think I always have. For a long moment he is silent. Then he says, something that makes my chest ache. "You are not invisible to me." I do not know what to do with those words. I turn away, pretending to examine the roses, but I can feel his gaze on my back. The night air is fragrant, and my heart is loud, echoing in ways I am not ready to understand. Days become weeks. The quiet moments grow heavier with unspoken emotion. Sometimes he brushes against my arm by accident, or maybe not, and I feel sparks in places I thought were numb. I find myself laughing softly at jokes I didn't expect to enjoy, and sometimes I even catch myself watching him when he is not looking. But the fear never leaves. The knowledge that I married him for money, not love, sits like a stone in my chest. And yet I cannot deny the small, growing ache in my heart that comes from his gentle care. One night, the house feels different. He has been quiet for hours, and I hear him moving slowly in the library. Curiosity drives me to peek inside. He is kneeling on the floor, looking at old photographs. I recognize a younger version of him, full of life and laughter, holding a woman I do not know. His eyes glisten, and I see something I have never seen before, loneliness, raw and unguarded. I step back silently. My chest tightens. This man, so much older than me, so cautious in the world, carries a history I cannot even touch. And yet, Here I am, still walking beside him in silence, drawn to him in ways I never intended. When he looks up, he sees me. He does not hide his feelings. A small, sad smile crosses his face. "You are awake," he says. "I was just curious," I reply, though my voice trembles. He gestures for me to sit, and I do, at a careful distance. We do not speak much. Words are heavy. But in the quiet, I realize something terrifying. I am beginning to care for him, not for the comfort he provides, or the wealth, or the security, but for him, for the man behin. The tired eyes. And as I sit there, looking at him surrounded by memories and shadows, I feel the first flicker of a truth I am not ready to admit. Love is dangerous, especially when it was never supposed to exist. The rain begins again outside, tapping softly against the windows, and in the quiet, I hear my own heartbeat, faster than the rhythm of the storm. It is impossible to tell if it is fear or something else, something dangerous, something real. The moment stretches, fragile and trembling, and I realize that soon I may not be able to walk away from the heart I never meant to give. Days pass, but the quiet intimacy between us grows heavier. It is no longer only comfort or habit, it has become a delicate tension, a thread stretched between us that trembles with unspoken longing. I try to ignore it, but it follows me like a shadow I cannot shake. One evening he asks me to sit with him in the study. The room smells of old paper and wood polish. The lamp casts a warm golden circle of light over the two of us. He sits in his chair, and I perch on the edge of the sofa, careful to maintain distance. "I want to show you something," he says softly. I nod, curious despite myself. He opens a drawer and pulls out a leather-bound journal. "The past is never gone," he whispers. I glance at him, noticing the way his hands shake slightly as he opens the pages. He reads aloud, quietly, stories from his youth, love lost, mistakes made, moments of fleeting happiness. His voice is gentle, and for the first time, I hear more than just words. I hear regret. I hear longing. I hear a life I could never imagine living. I am mesmerized. The man before me is not just Mr. Malik, the wealthy, patient husband. He is a human being, fragile and brave in ways I have never allowed myself to see. When he finishes, he closes the journal and looks at me. "You are still young," he says so. "Ftli, life is ahead of you. You can still choose happiness." His words hit me like a sudden storm. Happiness. I have never thought of it as mine. I have never allowed myself to imagine it. I don't know what I want," I whisper, the truth trembling in my chest. He reaches out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "I will not force you," he says, "but I am here, if you ever decide to stay." The touch is electric. I pull back, frightened by the warmth it ignites in me. My heart races, and I feel a strange combination of longing and guilt. Weeks pass, and the distance between us shifts. We talk more, laugh more, share quiet meals in the golden light of the dining room. Every gesture, every glance becomes charged with something unspoken. Even the air between us feels alive. And then the first night comes, a night when we are alone in the house, the storm outside echoing the turmoil inside me. He sits beside me on the sofa, close but not touching. The silence stretches and my chest aches with a longing I cannot name. I glance at him and he meets my gaze, eyes heavy with emotion. For a moment, the world narrows to just the two of us. I begin, but the words fail me. He leans slightly closer, and I feel the heat of his presence. "Do you trust me?" he asks softly. I nod, though my hands tremble. Then impossibly, our hands brush. Just a fleeting touch, but it sends sparks through my entire body. I want to pull away, but I cannot. We sit like that for hours, fingers intertwined without really knowing why. Every heartbeat feels loud, every breath fragile. The storm outside mirrors the storm inside me. And yet in the quiet moments I see him, not as a husband I married for money, but as a man who has lived, who has loved, who has lost. And for the first time, I realize something terrifying. I am falling for him, deeply, completely, but fear follows closely behind. Fear of the world outside these walls, of judgment, of my own shame. Fear that this fragile connection could break at any moment. One morning, I wake to find him gone. A note lies on the kitchen table, written in his familiar, careful handwriting. I had to go away for a few days. Don't wait up, I will return. I clutch the note, heart pounding. A strange emptiness fills the house. The quiet that once felt comfortable now feels like a vacuum. I realize how dependent I have become on his presence, how much I have started to care. The days without him stretch endlessly. I try to read, to write, to occupy my mind, but everything reminds me of him. His voice, his gestures, the way he looks at me when he thinks I am not watching. When he returns, the storm inside me is impossible to hide. I run to the study, desperate for him, for the warmth of his presence. He smiles softly, as if he has known I would come. I missed you, I whisper, my voice trembling. He takes my hand gently, holding it like it is the most fragile thing in the world. I missed you too, he says, and yet you do not need me. You are strong. I look into his eyes and see the truth I have been avoiding. We are not equal in this story. He has lived longer, lost more, and loves cautiously. I am young, impulsive, and untested. And yet, in this moment, the pull between us is undeniable. Something is beginning to break in me, an old barrier I never knew I had. The safety I thought I had bought with money is dissolving into something far more dangerous: desire, attachment, and perhaps love. I sit there, hand in his, knowing that soon everything will change, and I do not know if I am ready, but the truth presses close, undeniable and unrelenting. I am no longer sure I married him only for wealth, and that realization terrifies me. The days that follow are both tender and fragile. Our NDS brush more often, lingering just long enough to ignite something inside me I cannot control. He reads to me at night, his voice soft and intimate, and I find myself leaning closer, drawn in by a warmth I had thought impossible. But with every stolen glance, every quiet touch, I feel the weight of what I've done, what I am becoming. I married him for safety, for money, for escape from a life of uncertainty. Yet here I am, chasing something far more dangerous, the man himself. It starts small, a look that lingers, a hand that hesitates before leaving mine, a smile that carries a question I cannot answer. And then it grows, a night when I wake to find him asleep in the chair beside my bed, the book fallen from his hands, his face etched with exhaustion and sorrow. I study him, tracing every line and scar with my eyes, feeling something crack inside me. The storm comes without warning. One afternoon I return from the market to find the house unusually silent. The air feels heavy, charged with something I cannot name. I call his name, no reply. I hurry to the study. He is sitting at the desk, hands clasped, staring at the wall. His face is pale, the light catching the deep lines etched by years and worry. He does not look at me. He does not move. Haroon? My voice trembles. He finally lifts his eyes, and the weight of his gaze makes my chest ache. I should have told you sooner, he whispers. I have been diagnosed. It is serious. Very serious. The words hang between us like a blade suspended in air. My knees weaken. The room spins. I grip the edge of the desk, my fingers digging into the wood. No, I choke out. My words fail me. He takes my hand in his, weak but steady, and I feel a strange calm wash over me. I wanted to protect you from this, he says, from the pain, from knowing. I wanted you to live your life freely without the shadow of my sickness. Tears burn my eyes. The fragile walls I built around my heart crumble. I realize I do not want freedom. I do not want safety. I want him. I don't care, I whisper. I don't care about anything except you. His eyes glisten with unshed tears. A fragile smile touches his lips. You are brave, Aelin. Braver than I ever was. We sit in silence, holding hands, as if the world outside the walls has ceased to exist. But reality is relentless. The sickness is merciless. It moves through him like a shadow, erasing strength, dimming the light in his eyes. I care for him each day more deeply than I ever intended. I prepare his meals, tend to his needs, watch helplessly as the man I have come to love slowly weakens before me. One night, he calls me to the bed. The room is dim, shadows stretching across the walls. He takes my face in his hands, eyes searching mine for understanding. I do not have much time, he says. Please, do not waste your life because of me. I shake my head violently, refusing to let him go. I cannot, I whisper. I will not let you go. He closes his eyes, a tear escaping down his cheek. I wish I had loved you sooner, he murmurs. I feel a sob catch in my throat, trembling against my chest. I cannot imagine life without him, cannot imagine the emptiness that will follow when he is gone. The world suddenly feels unbearably vast, unbearably cruel. He smiles faintly, the effort immense. I am grateful, he says, voice weak, for this, for you. And then the silence falls, heavy, unyielding. I hold him close that night, memorizing the weight of his body, the rhythm of his breathing, the warmth I will never feel again. The next morning he is gone. The bed is cold, the chair empty. The journal lies open, pages fluttering with the faint breeze from the window. I sit on the floor, clutching the ring on my finger, the S. A ring that once felt like chains but now feels like a memory carved into my soul. I cannot cry. I cannot move. I only sit and listen to the emptiness echo through the rooms he once filled with his quiet presence. Days pass. The world continues without pause, but I cannot follow. I walk through the house, touching objects, remembering gestures, phrases, moments that now sting with absence. I realize painfully that love is not always about possession. Sometimes love is about witnessing, about holding someone in your heart even when the world takes them away, even when you are left behind. And in the quiet, I finally understand. I married for safety, but I lost my heart in the process. I traded freedom for security, and in that trade, I found a love I cannot hold, a love that leaves a scar, beautiful and haunting, etched into the core of who I am. I sit by the window, looking at the rain that begins again, heavy and persistent. I can almost hear his voice in the rhythm of the drops, whispering through the walls of the house. I close my eyes, letting the tears fall silently, imagining him beside me, just one last time, and I realize the part of me that loved him will never leave. It will remain in the quiet corners of the house, in the scent of old books and tea, in the memory of warmth that was too fleeting to hold. The storm outside softens, leaving a fragile, trembling calm, but inside I am hollow, and yet alive, because he was here, even if only for a moment. The days stretch on in a quiet haze. The house is full of echoes, his footsteps that no longer come, his voice that no longer calls my name, the weight of his presence that lingers in every room. I move through it like a ghost, touching objects that remember him better than I ever could. I keep the journal open on the desk. Sometimes I read it, sometimes I just sit beside it, letting the words and memories wash over me. His handwriting feels like a whisper across my skin, a reminder that he existed, that he loved, that he allowed me to see him. I cannot escape the nights. They are long and empty, filled with the sound of my own breathing and the faint tick of the clock. I lie in the bed he once shared with me, cold sheets pressing against my skin, and I imagine him there. I imagine his hand brushing my hair, his voice murmuring my name, his eyes, soft, knowing, full of quiet affection. Time moves differently now. Minutes are heavy, hours are endless, and days are fragile. I walk through the garden he loved, touching the roses he tended, breathing in the fragrance that seems to carry a piece of him. The world outside continues, people living their lives unaware of the love that was here, raw and impossible, like a fire that burned too bright to last. I think about our moments, the small, fleeting touches, the quiet mornings, the way he smiled when he thought I wasn't looking. I think about how it all began, how I entered his life for money, for safety, and how in the end I gave him the one thing I never intended, my heart. I realize now that love is not a transaction, not a bargain made with safety or gold. It is reckless. It is painful. It is the soft ache that lingers long after someone is gone, and yet it is worth everything. I write in his journal one night, my hand trembling. I married for wealth, I write, but I lived for love. I loved him, truly, completely, and I will carry that love with me, even when the world feels empty. Tears blur the words, but I do not care. This is the only way I can reach him now, in the quiet corners of memory and the soft spaces of my heart. Sometimes I swear I hear him in the wind, in the rustle of the leaves, in the gentle drip of rain against the window. And sometimes I smile through the grief, because I know the truth. Love does not vanish. It does not die. It only changes form, lingering in the places that matter most. I walk to the window and look out at the city lights, soft and distant. The world moves on, unaware of the story that unfolded in the quiet house on the hill. I press my hand against the glass, imagining his hand over mine. I close my eyes and let the memory fill me. And in the deepest, quietest part of my heart, I whisper the words that will stay with me forever. I loved him, and that was enough.